Thank you very much. It's a pleasure to be here. So every time I'm trying to something differently. So sometimes I give very theoretical talks, sometimes very technical talks. And here I try to mix kind of like visionary or more product talk with a little bit of technical, but I'll try to put the technical at the end and maybe a little. Okay. So this is my title, Collaborative Networks from Social to Action. And the first goal of this talk would be to try help you imagine what I imagine when I think about collaborative networks, which is not clear, not easy. So I thought the best would be just to tell you a little story. So this is my story. So firstly, before that, who feels you can imagine what it means for thousands of people to cooperate around shared causes? Like, who feels they have a very tangible imagination of that? Okay, that's a good starting point. Great, so let's start with Daniel. So it's summer, and Daniel has just finished the last exams of bachelor's in computer science, if you ask. So from earliest childhood, Daniel was fascinated by the jungles, and he dreamt of traveling into the roots of the Amazon. So he works for several months to save money. He buys a one-way ticket, and he gets on a plane. Back in Peru, Daniel finds a local guide to take him into the primary forest where trees have never been cut down before. Deep into the jungle, Daniel has a special moment of intimacy with nature, which he hasn't felt before. With that moment in mind, Daniel decides to do whatever he can to protect the Amazon. Since coming back from the jungle, Daniel keeps thinking about what he could do to protect the Amazon. If only he could raise enough funds to buy it all, he thinks to himself. So surely other people have thought this before, and Daniel quickly opens his Facebook on the mobile and joins 4 different Save the Amazon Rainforest groups. He finds thousands of members discussing and raising interesting ideas, but unfortunately, none of those groups trigger any meaningful action. A few days later, still overwhelmed with the experience of the primary jungle, Daniel writes to his best friend Josh about his thoughts. Josh tells Daniel about this new mobile app, Alchemy, that lets grassroots movement fund and pursue their shared causes collaboratively. They call it crowd causing. So Daniel downloads Alchemy to his mobile and starts browsing. Free Hong Kong sounds interesting. Daniel jumps in to find an emerging resistance movement of over 25,000 members, which has just reached $1 million in funding. Unbelievable. This sounds like something like Facebook plus Kickstarter. Vegan TLV, 845 people promoting vegan restaurants and awareness in Tel Aviv. Daniel is curious what this group would do with the $75,000 they just raised. In one open proposal, Amanda suggests to allow restaurants which add 10 vegan dishes to their menu to freely publish ads on the group homepage for 2 months. Not bad. Another one offered to fund a Facebook campaign to spread the word and grow the group further. And a really cool one offers to spend $1,000 on a vegan pop-up night by a famous vegan chef in another famous non-vegan restaurant. So Daniel clearly starts developing his own appetite. Inspired by this new app, Daniel decides to open his own collaborative network, and in just 2 minutes, he excitingly launches the Amazon network. He's very proud of the tagline he thought of: if you want to save the Amazon, own it. Daniel fixes a minimal $10 donation to become a member. You can donate more, but he decides that everyone would get an equal vote. So he sets an initial funding goal of $5,000 before the network could start using the funds. And before going to sleep, he quickly posts a link to the Amazon network into all of those Save the Amazon Facebook groups. What the heck, he thinks to himself, wondering if anyone would join the group by the time he wakes up. Good morning. First thing in the morning, Daniel checks up his phone and is surprised to find out a notification saying 97 new members have just joined the Amazon network in the last 12 hours. Unbelievable. We've just collected our first $1,000 to save the Amazon. And Daniel starts to believe. Daniel didn't expect to hit the target a funding target goal of $5,000 so fast, but now that they crossed it, the Amazon network can start using those funds, the collected funds, to promote its cause. And luckily so, since Michelle is just ready to use some funds to campaign and grow the network even further. So Michelle doesn't miss any of Jack's blog posts, although this one seems particularly boring. Another NGO that wants to save the world? Oh yeah. If it wasn't for Jake, she wouldn't bother to look in, but Jake's references are rarely disappointing, so she keeps reading. That's interesting. All collected donations are managed collaboratively by the donors themselves to pursue their shared cause. Crowd causing? Wow. Struck by the idea, Michelle downloads the app herself and proposes to the Amazon network to spend $200 on a wide Facebook campaign that she'll carry out with her own marketing agency. You'd see the proposal that Michelle posts to the collaborative network suggesting to make a marketing campaign, Facebook marketing campaign for $200. And yeah, how it looks like. That's fine. Let's do refresh.
Yeah, where's the dance?
I'm happy to dance, but you guys are gonna do the beatboxing. That's not beatboxing. And I need somebody to give me some vocals. So who's a singer? Yeah, I was looking there too. What? Oh yeah, okay. You're getting a microphone.
Okay. Buddy, oh boy, make a big noise playing in the street. Gonna be a big man someday. You got blood on your face, big disgrace, kicking your can all over the place, singing.
Maybe it's almost done. There was the guy before that installing the display mode. Maybe he can help us. Now I see.
So I know what we got up to. It was waking up in the morning with, oh my God, $5,000 in my account. How can we start now putting this into the rainforest, right?
Okay, so in an open proposal, Amanda suggests to allow restaurants which add 10 vegan dishes to their menu to freely publish ads on the group homepage for 2 months. Well, not bad. Another one offers to fund a Facebook campaign to spread the word and grow the group further. And a really cool proposal offers to spend $1,000 on a vegan pop-up night by a famous vegan chef in another famous non-vegan restaurants. So as discussed before, no, it doesn't work. No. Yeah, okay. So, good morning, good evening, we've seen that. Wait, inspired by this new app, Daniel decides to open his collaborative network, and in just 2 minutes, he excitingly launches the Amazon network. He's very proud of the tagline. Yeah. Okay, sorry. He's very proud of the tagline he's thought of. If you want to save the Amazon, own it. He fixes a minimal $10 donation to become a member. You can donate more, but he decides that everyone would get an equal vote. He sets an initial funding goal of $5,000 before the network could start using the funds. And before going to sleep, Daniel quickly posts a link to the Amazon network into all of those Save the Amazon Facebook groups. What the heck, he thinks to himself, wondering if anyone would join the group by the time he wakes up. And indeed, first thing in the morning, he checks up his phone and is surprised to find out a notification saying 97 members have just joined the Amazon network in the last 12 hours. Unbelievable. We've just collected our first $1,000 to save the Amazon. And Daniel starts to believe. So it happens that Jake, one of the earliest members to join the Amazon network, has a successful blog post. Excited about this innovative movement, Jake writes a short post about the Amazon network and his own vision of it. Daniel didn't know about Jake or his blog post, and thus was even more stunned to discover later that same evening that 624 members have joined in. And the fun begins. So Daniel didn't expect to hit this target of $5,000 so quickly, but now that they hit it, they can start using the funds to pursue the causes thereafter. And luckily so, because Michelle is just ready to launch a campaign. Michelle doesn't miss any of Jake's blog posts, although this one seems particularly boring. Another NGO that wants to save the world? Oh yeah. If it wasn't for Jake, she wouldn't bother to look in, but Jake's references are rarely disappointing, so she keeps reading. That's interesting. All collected donations are managed collaboratively by the donors themselves to pursue their shared cause. Crowd causing? Wow. Struck by the idea, Michelle downloads the app and proposes to the Amazon network to spend $200 on a wide Facebook campaign that she'll carry out with her own marketing agency. And of course, she requests only the net cost of the campaign. And within 12 hours, bam, the Amazon network approves Michelle's proposal, as Daniel finds out on his personal feed. Michelle gets the funds and instantly launches her campaign. Well, you know that Facebook campaigns work, but Michelle is particularly good at it. And the day after, there are over 3,000 members and $30,000 in the Amazon network. It's been only 3 days since Daniel launched the Amazon network, and its growth has overcome beyond anything he could imagine. And the ball keeps rolling. One new member of the Amazon network is a journalist covering environmental issues for the New York Times. His article published on the back cover of the New York Times brings thousands new members overnight, and so on and so forth. Facebook campaigns are spreading like fire, 1,000 mentions on Twitter, 2 more articles are coming out, and a few small philanthropists are coming in. Exactly 1 week after its launch, the Amazon network has spent $2,500 to promote itself, by which it has grown to 64,000 members and almost $1 million in funding. And no doubt, this would have never happened without the power of this engaged crowd. With this funding in place, the Amazon network finally approves the first proposal to purchase an Amazon forest land in Bolivia, 400 acres of primary jungle, for $100,000. So in 3 months, the Amazon network managed to buy a vast area of the Amazon, Bolivia, Peru, Brazil, and Ecuador, a total of 100,000 acres. An official website been launched, many social media campaigns have been executed. It now has 320,000 members. 2 US congressmen have publicly supported the Amazon network, and 3 full-time lobbyists have been hired, 1 in the US and 2 local ones in Brazil. Amazon, the company, has donated $1 million to the Amazon network and formed an official alliance with it. And 2 large Amazon protecting NGOs, the Rainforest Trust and the Rainforest Foundation, have joined the Amazon network with a donation of $100,000 each. And several Hollywood celebrities have joined the network too and publicly tweeted about it. Now, an ecological tourism program is already underway with local indigenous. The plan is to help more tourists enjoy the Amazon forest while causing less harm. The Amazon network has started buying deforested lands to carry out massive replantations. And another project that has just got funded will monitor live raw data from the forests on the Amazon network to measure animal livelihood over time, and much, much more. The Amazon network was able to achieve in about 3 months results that no NGO could dream of achieving after 3 years. And this is what I mean by crowd causing. Now, if you remember, all this started with Daniel's journey to the Amazon, and of course, the power of the crowd once well organized. Now, the Amazon network, Free Hong Kong or Vegan Tel Aviv, are just a few examples. Some groups will organize local festivals or conferences. Some will fight corporates which damage their local environment. Some will run political, social, or municipal campaigns. Some will organize in purchasing groups to bend the market. And urban groups will develop urban food forests, communal gardens, schools, or even parks. And the list just goes on and on. Now, I assume most of you already heard about DAOs, Decentralized Autonomous Organization. Perhaps let me pause here. Who haven't heard about DAOs? Okay. So DAOs, Decentralized Autonomous Organization, running on the blockchain and collaboratively and basically operated by code. And collaborative networks are quite similar to DAOs, somewhat like DAOs, but which are more simple. So they are simpler to engage with. They are more targeted to the mainstream, so not specifically for professionals or a niche market. They are much, much more large scale, and they contain an inherent social element. So saying blockchain, yes, this collaborative network does operate on the blockchain, but as you see, you haven't seen any of it in the app. And for a good reason, because we are almost ready to deliver the blockchain application which leave no trace of the blockchain in their app, a term which I would like to dub as blockchain zero. Now, we haven't seen any technology, but in fact, below the hood, there is quite a lot of technology, and this is what we call the DAOstack. So in addition to the blockchain and the IPFS network, which resides at the bottom, you don't see it, there's many, many layers involved. At the base layer, there is infra, which is basically the protocol layer for large-scale governance systems. In the second layer, there is Arc, which is a generic, modular, and reusable architecture for governance systems. You can build, basically with it, you can build any sort of governance system you can imagine. Archives are those curated databases which track all DAOs, all networks, and also governance modules. Graph is off-chain databases which allow fast reading of the blockchain data. And of course, with all those reusable components, you can build your own DApp to interface the use case, the DAO use case that you have in mind. Holographic consensus is a core component of all of this, and let me tell you why. So in collaborative networks, thousands of people really engage. And by really engage, I mean they engage in the discussions, of course, like in social networks, but they also engage in the proposing of actions to pursue their shared causes, as well as in the voting of those proposals. Which means there's going to be a lot of proposals to vote on, which means the average proposal will see very little fraction of voting power attending it, which means there is a constant concern whether those little attendance decisions actually reflect the larger majority. For that, we've developed a special governance protocol we call holographic consensus. It predicts the level of representativity of decisions with respect to the larger group and ensures their alignment. I won't get into the technical details here, but you can come later and ask me. The protocol is embedded in the DAOstack as well in the bottom layer. This is a link, let me try if it would work, to Alchemy as it is right now. So everything I showed you is still in a development process, and this is the prototype version that's actually running right now on the blockchain. So this is my personal feed where I follow all of the activities in the DAOs that I follow. I can also see all of the DAOs that are available right now. I can get into a single DAO and see all of the proposals that are put out right now. So this is proposal to build decentralization analytics, graphs for measuring decentralization, finding voting blocks, and basically I can vote on it if I would connect with a wallet that has reputation, voting power in this system, and so on and so forth. I can see also all of the history of this DAO, and so on and so forth. Now, clearly, this is very, very different from what I showed you in the design, and soon we will also have Alchemy. So now I need to see how to come back. Maybe. Wait, actually, yeah, that's here. Okay, so this was Alchemy now. Now, in fact, Daniel's journey, his enlightenment, and life commitment to protect the Amazon was based on a true story. And Noni, who is Daniel for real, is a good friend of mine. And also the new Alchemy that I've just showed you is coming very soon. So with that, I would like to call you all of the builders to build the future together and crowd cause the change we want to see in the world. And I would say also right here, right now. Let's see if that would work.
I'm so happy you actually plugged in the audio. That's what most people forget. Right now, right here, right now, right here, right now, right. This just keeps looping and looping and looping, right? Oh.
So with this, I would end. I will be happy to answer any question of yours. Thank you.
Woohoo! And we got a few minutes for questions, but you did have that technical thing in the middle, so I'm going to eat a little bit of their switch over time if there are some questions. We're going to try and get them on video. So who's got a question? Don't leave me hanging, people. Okay, we've definitely got one down here, so you guys can keep thinking.
When Alchemy? When is the new UI?
When the new UI. So roughly 3 months is the target. I think it's possible.
Okay. And
maybe just to say one thing on that.
Yeah.
So the 3 months it will be live, and then about 6 months it will be at the stage of blockchain 0 that I mentioned. So you basically would not see the blockchain anymore.
Yeah. And do you need DAI or any other tokens bought from
Sure. So
any exchange to operate it?
right, exactly. So in reality, what happens is that the donator just places a credit card. He didn't just see dollars in his account. He doesn't know that in fact what he's doing, he's buying with this credit card, he's buying Ether. With this Ether, he's exchanging to DAI, and the funds are held in DAI. The gas is held in Ether and paid with Ether, and everything just happens seamlessly.
And if there are fluctuations in price, then the US dollars or euros.
And that's why the funds are held in DAI.
Yeah. Okay. Perfect.
Yeah. So just the gas is paid with Ether every transaction, but the funds are held in DAI. Yeah.
Cool.
I had understood everything until Rutger asked a question. I was doing so well. Let's see how this one goes.
Very easy. Will the DAI earn interest?
Oh, that's just such a great question. So this has been suggested to, if you have a DAO that just collected $1 million, he can pull in and get interest. So, in fact, what you didn't see, because I focused on the new design, you saw the Alchemy that the current Alchemy. So the current Alchemy and the infrastructure below are very modular, so that anyone can add their own feature. So you don't need to wait for us to develop the feature. You can just go and develop that feature that any DAO can click a button or propose to pull in the funds, invest them, and get interest.
Possibly not wise when we're going for negative interest rates at the moment, just saying. There was someone here in the middle that was waving the hand. If not, I'm going to come over to you. Yeah, great. Running.
Thank you. There is this known problem that the Apples and the Googles and so forth that are cut out of the DApp incentivization model. So have you overcome that? Will it be available over the stores, and how have you gone about it, if so?
You're asking whether this will be available in the app stores? Sure, yeah. Again, from your perspective, this is not even a blockchain application. I think we get to mass adoption once we stop calling them blockchain application. We're just calling them application. Nobody calls a mobile application. They just call them application or internet application, right? So once we get to that point where blockchain is just another technological layer, then we will hit mass adoption, mainstream.
Time for one last question. Anybody daring? Oh, I've got two. Okay, I'm going to start here because you're in front of me.
Would you be at the hackathon?
Maybe. Hopefully, yes.
April 3 to 5, Groningen.
There's
like
4
Amsterdam
conferences in the
North.
same week, so. But I think.
And there was one
Like
more
this.
because that was such an easy one. Who was it that raised their hand up somewhere? Yeah.
How does key management work? So, I mean, storage of the funds. What's the technical process for that?
So there are a bunch of them. So right now, what you saw in the current Alchemy, you just have a wallet. It just connects to the regular wallets. You can connect a bunch of them, and the idea of the next version is to have, Taurus wallet. Have you heard about it? Okay, so it's basically a wallet that connects with your Google OAuth, so that the user doesn't need to know anything about it. But basically, it stores locally and also with Google OAuth.
Great, ladies and gentlemen, we are out of time. So a huge warm round of applause
Okay,
for
thank you.
Matan.